Today on Modeled Out Customs, part 2 of the 1967 Chevelle Pro Street, we're weathering the chassis. Where we at? We at the bench. Let's go. Okay, we at the bench, y'all. And today we're gonna be weathering the chassis, man. We're gonna weather this boy, man. You know, I know I showed pictures before on how I do it, but I want to show y'all exactly how I dry brush any model. Like, I learned this from artist Opus, you know, the people that sell all the brushes and the texture pads, and this is actually a dry brush texture pad where you test your the wetness of your brush, how dry you want it, how wet you want it, you know, and you gotta have different brushes. Like, this is a stiff brush, this is a more looser brush, as y'all can see, and gonna show y'all. And this was sprayed with the Deco Art Extra Sheen metallic paint, sapphire blue, and then I got, you know, later on y'all gonna see the video of how I don't actually show me spray painting, I just tell y'all how I achieved or what I used. When I tell y'all, you know, it's tons of videos out there where everybody's showing them spray paint, you know. Okay, I mean, if you don't know how to spray paint, leave it in the comment. I will show y'all how I learned. I went through a lot of trials and tribulations to really learn how to paint. And now, like I say, I think I'm pretty good with acrylic paints. Like, a lot of people like enamels and all that, but I have got acrylic paints to agree with me, because I live in a cold city, so in the summertime, in the wintertime, I can't open the window, or, you know, I got my ventilator thing that goes out the window, but still, I don't want to have no harsh chemicals. And when I spray my 2K, well, we're just gonna talk about that another time. We're gonna stick to the story. Stick to the matter at hand. I'm gonna show y'all how I mix my paint and how I achieve a nice. I don't want to overdo it like I did the NASCAR. When I did the NASCAR, you know that NASCAR is driven around that track 200, almost 200 miles per hour, and the dust and dirt and rocks is kicking up. So the bottom of that car is not gonna look great. But when it's going for a photo shoot, they can make it look nice around, you know, the body top. But that bottom, they not cleaning the bottom or making it look pretty until probably the car retires or something. So let's jump right into it. So you're gonna need you some dry brushes, as usual. You have to learn the sizes, you know, to get in little corners. You don't want to touch too much. Of course, you want a littler brush, and then the stiffer the brush, the more you could just get the edges, and the looser the brush, you just want to, you know, do wide ranges of areas, but not too much of an area, depending on the size of the brush. Because, like, you can go here and get bigger brushes, you know what I mean? You can get bigger brushes depending on what you want to do, you know what I'm saying? So that's totally on what you want to do. So we're gonna start off, okay, and we have our texture pad. This shows you, is you getting the edges? Is it too much paint? Like, that's too much paint. So you'll want to keep going until you getting like a light coat. And then what I do is I spray paint this Like after it gets so much, I spray paint it over with a matte or a satin or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I really like satin because satin, it really pops out when you dry brush. So, and then I use a piece of cardboard or a piece of construction paper, like not no like a cardboard construction paper, so it can absorb is what I'm looking for, absorb the paint. So this absorbs the paint, and these are good for oil paints as well, because when you take oil paints out, you have to sit it out on a paper or whatever and let it absorb that oil out of there, and then you can use your paint. So today I'm going to be using, you can see it on the screen, I'm using Forks Flirt. Think that's how you say it. Forks Flirt. I think that's an L. It's a acrylic paint. This is brush metal. They have a brush metal series. I have all of them. This is a brush silver. I have brush gold. I have brush rose gold, and I have a dark metal. It's called dark black, but it's dark silver. You know, if you want that dark pipe looking silver, you know, like if you look on my if you look at on my Facebook page at any of my planes, like my jets, F-14, F-18, they have that dark metal brushed on the jets, on the back, on the jet pack, on the back of the plane. You know what a fire, you know, I forgot what they call it. I really ain't thinking about that right now. But you know what the afterburners, you know, at the end of the plane got that painted on it. You can see how that paints. And you know, for all people that says, you know, acrylic paints ain't good, acrylic paints are wonderful. Acrylic paints, and people think you can't achieve showroom floor ability with acrylic paints. A lie. Not even, I don't even want to spoil the other video, but look at that. That is acrylic paint. That is a showroom floor finish. You know what I mean? But they gonna see it. They gonna see it when it's done. So let's get right into it. I'll be using that for, this is a brush silver. This comes out with a metal. Anything you paint it is gonna look metal. I've bought a series. It comes in a 4-pack. I got it from Walmart. It's like a 5-pack or a 4-pack. I think I'm missing one if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the metallic paints are great. It's just how you mix them. Now I have came across different mixes. I still use the Star Water. The Star Water works great. But I have came across, I look at some of the paint artists on YouTube and what they use and what they make to make that acrylic paint or whatever, you know, because most of the painters that paint portraits, they use acrylic paints. You know what I mean? So I went to Hobby Lobby and got this Master Touch. Now y'all gonna see this, the picture up there. It's called Master Touch. This is called Flow Medium, man. This stuff is what makes a big difference in my paint. And all you need is like 2 drops, like whatever you got. If like, I'm not finna use too much, so I'm probably gonna use just 2 little drops of this, and I'm gonna show you the paint, the way it looks before I drop it in there, and then it helps the flow of the paint and helps it go across whatever you paint. Is gonna catch it You know what I mean? Especially if you got a primer or another paint. And what I like about acrylics is that it dry quick. And when you use, and when you, most of the time, like if you trying to get a certain effect, then you probably want to use oil paints. But when you want just exactly what you want when you put it on there, then I would choose, but this will slow it down a little bit to dry. But I rather, I have like been messing with it for a long time. So like once you practice and practice and practice, and what I do, I practice on my models. I don't try to find nothing. And, you know what I'm saying? If I mess up, I just start over, strip it and start over. That's all I do. But as far as dry brushing, you can't mess that up because you go light to heavy. Don't never go heavy. You can't go heavy to light. You just use a little bit at a time. You keep brushing your brush until it's dry, and then see the effect that you get. And you will, man, it's gonna come right to you. So I just looked at a lot of tutorials and came to find out, that so I really don't need that much because all I'm doing is dry brushing. So you see, this is what I got. You see how thick it is? It's not moving, it's not sliding around. Watch this here. When I take my pipette, dip it in that thing. Then all I want is probably 2 drops. Boop, boop. I'm gonna make boop. I'm gonna give it 3. And I don't care what amount of paint, it's not gonna affect it. You can always use 2 to 3 drops, and I don't care what amount of paint you have, big amounts, little amounts, whatever. It's not gonna even matter. I had a stick over here somewhere, I gotta give me some coffee stirrers. Now, I see if you were trying to paint like without you could just put a couple of drops of this and it would just go on so smooth and nice, like that. And I'll put like a little bit, just a little bit of the star water in there, because I want it to be a little loose. Just a little bit. Because we're painting, we ain't spray paint. So you're using a brush. So you just want to break it down so it could be a little loose. Now look how that thing look. See how that thing look now? Look how that thing look. It still got its normal color. I just loosened it up a little bit. But that flow medium is gonna help it. See, look, it's moving now. It's moving now. So, but you just want to break your paint up a little bit. You could use it straight out the bottle, to tell you the truth. If it's up to you. So I used to use it straight out the bottle and achieve great things with it. You know what I mean? So it's totally up to you. So we're gonna start with this. So I'm gonna take, what you don't wanna do is get no paint all up in here. You don't want no paint all up here. All you wanna use is the tip of your brush. Whenever you paint, always just use the tip. Don't soak your whole brush up with paint. Just tap it at the top. Just like that. Tap it at the top. Just like that. Then you come over here. Move it around. You want to work that thing back and forth. Y'all see that? Look how it's coming. You see how that's coming? So you wanna, we just wanna all around the parts of the edges, most of them. You know, the places where you really get wear and tear. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to do too much. And you'll start to see the detail pop. Like I say, I don't want to use too much. See? And y'all see the way that's starting to shade out. You know? It's starting to shade out. You know? That's what we want. We want that. Now, say if you wanted to use, okay, you don't have to clean when you doing this. Like, you see how it's getting all up in the brushes, but it's dry. It's not wet. So we're gonna use this. Say you want to do a little bit more area. Now, what I'm gonna do is give y'all a closer look. See what I'm saying? Like, y'all see that it's like a bigger difference. Like, you know, I want that authentic. I want to achieve that authentic look. You know? So the more, just because it may look, it's called dry brushing. That means it's still gonna come off the brush, even though it don't look like no paint is being applied. You can go back and get some of that before it dry out, and then come on back in there. And you could also do this with, say you wanted to be a little bit more muddier. You could take some pigment, some Vallejo pigments. I have Vallejo pigments. I gotta collect some more. I have 3, 6, 8. I have 8 of them. You know, I have some thick mud, some splash mud, some engine oil. You know, whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, more of that engine oil I use for like planes or tanks. You know, where you really gonna see oil at, and like put oil droppings on the ground around. You know, if you're diorama or something like that. But yeah, so we're gonna keep going. I like the. This is for the just getting tight spots. Like, if you want to get up in something, you know what I mean, and not put it everywhere. Twist it back and forth as you going. Twist this back and forth as you releasing wiping the paint off. Then you move to another spot to see you got it all off. Once you ain't seeing no more, then you come here. Then you see how that's coming. It's coming alive. Slowly but surely. If I keep brushing, it's gonna come alive. See how that came alive like that? That's how you want it. You want to go from light to dark. You know when to stop. When you have achieved what you have achieved. See? And then some spaces you have lighter than the other, because you're not really gonna get that much cake up or kickback in certain spots. You know what I mean? So you just want to do that. See what I'm saying? Now that, let's come over here, see the difference in how that look, and this one brighter. Then we come over here and just, you know, a lot of dirt gonna be under here, so it's gonna kick some of this paint down with the little brush. Now I'm just making the paint look a little worn right now, a little worn out, but we want some areas to look as though the paint is gone, you know. The paint is totally gone, and I use a brighter silver for that. Because you see, this is a little darker because we want to look metal. But we want to achieve like the chipping of the metal or wornness of the paint that came off from the car being driven. Okay. Okay. Now, we got that. Now, what I'm going to do is, I don't want to use that no more, so I'm going to give me another. You know what I need to be using? These come in handy as well. Where is they at? Where is my... Oh, they behind me. You know, we drink a lot of water in here. So these, I use these for my glue. And like if I need a little paint, just a little paint. And all I really need is just a little paint. So we just we're gonna put a little paint in there. Yeah, just a little. And I'm gonna come straight off. I don't want to mix nothing with it because I want to achieve something. So I come right off of there. See? It doesn't take long to achieve that, man. Voila. There we go, man. There we go. Let me get y'all back on that tripod, man. And that's how you weather. That's how you weather a chassis, man.